Okay, so just a minute ago, I had a very odd comment from someone in New Zealand about how they couldn't watch my Timu Hall because of the way I lived and my native culture, my Cherokee blood, and how I hunted. And I lived in Appalachia and I hunted. She couldn't understand that. Now, I understand how a New Zealander can't understand Appalachia, but let's try to understand why this New Zealander can't understand Appalachia, okay? Take this journey with me. Number one, the biggest social justice issues in New Zealand, look, it goes right down to hunger and food insecurity. Why do they have hunger and food insecurity? Because they focus on all that stupid crap first. That stupid crap first that don't matter because, listen, their land has never had mammals unless you jump into the ocean because they've been, isolated down there. They have a bird. The scariest thing they have is the great white shark in the flipping ocean. They got nothing to worry about. But they imported a bunch of these species, and these people, these rich people, brought all these things to this little tiny island, and it couldn't sustain life. So guess what? The things that they wanted to slaughter and feed, they slaughtered and fed, and they ravaged the land, and they didn't do anything to help it. But the little small things like the stoats, the mice, the rats, the cats, the ferrets, and the wild pigs, well, they just kept growing, but nobody could find a way to use them. Duh. So they've never had any really big predators because, the place evolved without mammals unless you look in the ocean. So they've never had anything to look like a predator to be scared of a predator. Honey, I understand why you don't understand about Appalachia. We have bears, we have coyotes. We got things that'll come and get you and eat you for lunch. They don't care about your social justice feelings and your emotions. I live in a wild place where there are still wild things, and the common law government doesn't tell you what dog you can and can't have. You live in a very different place. I understand why you don't understand Appalachia, but listen, New Zealand is just a place full of invasive species that people brought over because it was basically just a drab island with a little bird. So the main activities that threaten species are habitat formation, farming, pollution, weeds and pests, and overharvesting. Guess what? Everything that hurts your animals comes from man. And it comes from man making you food and making you homes and making you comfortable. Well, here we don't do that. We live with our animals and our critters. The top predator in New Zealand is a flippin' bird. It's a hawk. If all I had to worry about in my life was a hawk, I sure wouldn't be able to understand somebody worrying about a 65-pound coyote that should be basically called a wolf coming after him, or a 500-pound black bear coming after him. No, I don't think I'd be able to understand their life either, but I sure would shut my mouth and try to understand it before I made them feel like an ass, because guess what? Who looks like the ass now? It would be you. There are no bears native to New Zealand. There are no predators. There is nothing there. Unless you look at the mammals that live in the water, you got nothing coming after you. It was mammal, desert. There was nothing there except for the mammals that could crawl out of the ocean. So once again, you look stupid telling somebody that's actually lived around predators her whole life, oh, you should be nice to predators. You don't know what a predator is, sweetie pie. Do you know that New Zealand's biggest issue is getting rid of rats? Do you want to know why? Because the rats flourish. And guess how they're getting rid of the rats? Well, the BBC reported that in Wellington they're using poison. They're doing toxin-laced baited boxes, basically. But I'm a horrible person for keeping natural levels of predators and other animals natural. I'm a basically conservation so that I don't have to ever go out and eradicate something with poison. I still play the hands-on tag with the wild critters. You just throw poison at them. So Appalachia wins on that one too. The most poison thing you have is a sea slug, honey. We got timber rattlers, we got cottonmouths, we got copperheads. Don't even get me started, honey. I live in a whole different world than you. This isolation that you live in, it has created an extinction of over 40 to 50 of the native bird species that you have. You know what? When you lose your birds, you lose everything. That's why this farm that called my husband said, I ain't got no birds. When you ain't got no birds, you ain't got healthy property. So we're getting rid of everything that kills the birds to get everything back in check. Are we trapping to eradication? No, that's unhealthy. We're trapping for balance. Something that New Zealand is now learning that they screwed up on. Now, it's ranked the second safest country in the world to live in. But hey, you know something? The biggest issue there is petty theft, and they can control every dog you own, and they have a whole list of dogs you can't own. But listen, it's an island. It's an island. You should have better index of safety ratings than this because you're an island. You should be able to control that environment, honey. Let's see what. 14,000 people go missing in New Zealand every year. Honey, you're an island. Go look for people. Of course, if you're scared of somebody going out in Appalachia and nabbing a predator, you're probably scared to go look for people that might be lost on your island. So what does this tell us? Well, it tells us that, number one, this person doesn't know what a predator is. It doesn't know what a wild area is. It doesn't know what conservation is. It doesn't know what a healthy population of animals is. And it doesn't know what a hierarchy of animal is. So this person was actually speaking from a place of no knowledge and absolutely no background knowledge of the kind of dynamic that I live within. And to tell me that I am doing a wrong when you don't understand what conservation is because your entire country failed at it, well, I would think you probably need to go back and read some of your history, honey, because my area is doing pretty good. We still have wild things, and sometimes we still are the wild things, and we like to keep it that way. So go take care of your hungry and your rats. Maybe you could do something with both of that and take out two problems with one stone. Hey, but until then, I think we've got a better handle on the situation up here in Appalachia than you do. So appreciate you thought-provoking insert into my video, but you didn't have to leave you stupid for everybody to see. But appreciate it because it made me have to go and give everybody a little rundown on how sorry New Zealand is.